What up? Part 2, Physical Geo, North Africa, Southwest Asia. Good stuff. It's good. What you're looking at here is Turkey. You see the Anatolia area here, Dardanelles, Bosporus, these straits leading into the Black Sea, all of which we've talked about so far. Here's Istanbul. Okay, a very important place in Turkey. And then the start of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers that roll down through Syria and Iraq, which we'll get into later. Other landforms of the area, the Iranian Plateau. Obviously, it's in Iran. It's a plateau, high, elevated area. The Hindu Kush Mountains in Afghanistan. A very difficult place for anybody to get into. It's part of the issues of our soldiers being in Afghanistan. These guys that they're going up against, Al Qaeda and Taliban, have places up in the mountains, making it difficult for us to get up there to fight them. So, very tough place to hang out and stay for a while. Golan Heights is a plateau that overlooks the Jordan River and the Sea of Galilee. Back in '67, Israel and Syria fought over this area because of its closeness to water. Here's some pictures of the plateau, the Hindu Kush Mountains in Afghanistan, Golan Heights. Other bodies of water. Southwest Asia is surrounded by water, important for trade and access to the world. Very few rivers. The two biggest rivers, Tigris and Euphrates, roll through Turkey, like I just said, down into Iraq and Kuwait. And because of those two rivers, the birthplace of civilization has tended to happen here and thrived from ancient Babylonia, Sumer, and the Assyrian civilization. The Jordan River is also a pretty important body of water, provides a lot of water for Israel, Lebanon, and Jordan, and flows into the Dead Sea. And here's another map. Pause it if you want to take a look longer. The Tigris and Euphrates system, we can see up here, starts up in Turkey, rolls down through Iraq, into Kuwait, out of Kuwait. Mesopotamia, one of the beginnings of civilization, happened in between these two rivers. That's what Mesopotamia means, land between the two rivers. Very important waterway there. The Jordan River system, again, Israel and Jordan competing over the water rights. Water is very important to that area. And here's a picture of the Jordan River. The Dead Sea at sunset. You can see the salt right here on the rocks. Very salty place. So salty, matter of fact, if you can read, that this dude can easily float here because of the salt, the density of the salt. Resources in the area: oil, 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 and oil. It is that important. It is that big. It has changed the economies of many of these countries because of the amount of oil found, especially on the Arabian Peninsula, and then Iran and Iraq. Over half of the world's oil resources come from Southwest Asia, making it a very, very important place that a lot of people try to have some kind of foothold in to gain access to these resources. Next to oil, water is the most valuable resource because we all need water to survive. Okay, very, very simple. Water, water, and water. Here's a map of the resources of the Middle East. You can see by the oil derricks, the petroleum found all along that area, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Iran, up in that area. It's just everywhere. Very, very important part. Climate and vegetation. Southwest Asia is very rigid, arid, raining dry. Most of the area receives less than 18 inches of rain per year. Not much coming out of the sky, kind of like here in Wichita, seems like. Rivers don't flow year-round. Plants and animals have adapted over time to the harsh climate. And if they didn't, they're dead. Here's a vegetative map. You can see the brown is the desert scrub, which is the majority of the area. You get into temperate grassland as you head north, but still a lot of desert areas up in there. Some big time deserts, the Ruba Kale, which means empty quarter. It's about the size of Texas. In Saudi Arabia, mostly in Saudi Arabia. Can go as long as 10 years, has gone as long as 10 years without rain. The Syrian desert separates London, Israel, and Syria from the Tigris and Euphrates River Valley. And then the Negev Desert of Israel. All big time important places. Here are some pictures. The Bedouins, or how you want to say it, desert Bedouins, folks who live out there basically. That's where they stay, that's their home. The Ruba Khalid, the empty quarter. You can see it in the southeastern part here of Saudi Arabia. Okay, parts of the UAE and Oman as well. More pictures. Here's the Negev in Israel and Desert Oasis. There's someone in Iran. Semi-arid lands located on the fringes of the deserts. Warm to hot summers. Enough rainfall to support grass and shrubs. And then you can grow things like cotton, wheat, and other things for pasture animals to eat on. Coastlands, like most, are well watered. Hot summers, rainy winters. Again, the water tends to affect their climate there. It's right there on the coast. They can grow crops year-round because of the irrigation, because of the irrigation in the summer and the wet of winters. Most of these areas are heavily populated by water, obviously. Okay, and the two rivers we talked about, the Tigris and Euphrates, provide an opportunity for intensive farming for those who live along these rivers. HEI, human-environment interaction. Water is scarce. There's a constant problem to find water, trying to find that solution. Turkey is trying to dam up the Euphrates River for water purposes and hydroelectricity. The only problem with that is that downstream, Iraq, Kuwait, all those kind of guys are going to be highly upset that their flow of water is going to be disrupted by this dam in Turkey. So that could lead to some issues. All those things have some kind of impact, both environmentally, politically, socially, all types of things that go into those kind of decisions. Modern water technology, things they try to do to either conserve water or gain access to more. Drip irrigation. They take small pipes and slowly drip water out to conserve water. Desalinization, which means taking salt from ocean water. It's an expensive process, and almost the water's still too salty to irrigate land or killing things. And then fossil water, which is water pumped from aquifers. And the problem with that is if you're not getting constant refills from rain stuff, you're going to use it up at some point. Here's some pictures of drip irrigation, the desalinization plant. And back to oil. It is that important. Okay, these fields around this area contain 50% of the world's oil. Oils form when plants and animals die, heat, and they're compressed together. The oil is trapped in the pores of the rock. And the rock keeps the oil underground. You can see with this chart the barrels of oil. This is 2002, so it's kind of old, but you can still see, obviously, it's still to this day very heavy barrels of oil in this region. That's why it is so important. Industrializations help fuel the need for all this oil, all these machines and things that came onto the forefront. It was first discovered in 1908. Then more was found in 1938. After World War II, the largest reserve was found in 1948. Al-Hawar, if I said that right, the largest reserve found, and then just took off from there. Persian Gulf oil exports, 2003, so this is 10 years old. Saudi Arabia, 49% sent off to other places. That's why they got so much money. Crude oil pumped straight from the ground, must be sent to refineries to convert into useful products, must be piped and stored on ships or 2 storages or ships, and then shipped all over the world. And you can see these graphs. You need to pause them if you want to kind of take a look at the different numbers on oil. Moving, it's dangerous. Risk of spills. One of the largest one in Kuwait is when Saddam blew up the oil wells in the Gulf War. Destroyed a lot of oil, a lot of environmental stuff there. Buried pipelines. People kind of bury the pipelines to help reduce the danger of being exposed to, obviously, human beings on Earth. If you can bury it, it tends to keep people from messing with it. And then obviously ocean tankers have a risk of spilling and do all kinds of massive damage. Here's Kuwaiti City, an island floating on a sea of oil. Tons of oil in Kuwait. Very, very wealthy. Parts of it are very, very wealthy. Dead Sea, lowest point on Earth. Some locusts. Kind of cool. And that's the end. Hope you dig it. Be ready for a quiz. Quiz coming up soon.